Hey y'all, I was hoping you guys could help me out this evening and wander around the shop with me to pick out some stuff to get ready to take up to my booth tomorrow and also to get started listing on Niknax. I was gonna just kind of have you guys tag along with me and pick some stuff out in the shop. So let's go find some treasure. Okay, so one thing, I'm thinking of taking this to the booth. I can't make up my mind. When I was cleaning it off, I noticed there was this little hairline crack on the arm of it there, and it seems stable. You know, it's not loose or flaking any chips or anything from it, but I don't know. It kind of makes me nervous to ship it. And plus, I'm trying to get some prettier things up in the booth. And I listed all of my other haul pieces, or most of them anyway, up on eBay. And so I'm thinking maybe take this guy up there. And you know, and on my tags in my booth, I always mark as is. I always point out, you know, outside of crazy. I mean, that's, anybody can see that on it. But, you know, things like this, I always want people to know about, to be aware of. All right, this is another thing that I've already got it tagged for my booth even. What do I have on it? $45. And then remember also my booth is always at a, 15% off discount outside of these last couple days where I ran the 50%. But you can find these online. This is German made, probably kind of obvious from some of the wording on here, but German made. These are not hard objects to find. However, I will say this. They tend to be very difficult to find with the original wood block topper. And I mean, look at that. It's like it was just made. They're very, very difficult to find with the original stickers. And while some of them will still have their original, enamel out here, a lot of them are damaged. I mean, this one, it's obviously got its little age wear things, but it's overall, I mean, there's no rust in here. Nothing. You could literally hook this up to your counter and use it today without a problem. I had planned on putting that in my booth the other day when I went up, but I honestly don't have a spot to hook it on. The tables that I do have up there either have glass shelves, on them, or like that short little black shelf. It's actually too thick, even with this wound all the way down. So it was too thick for it. So I don't know. And it's not something that you can just stand up. I can't put it in, I can't put it in like a holder very good. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I planned on selling them through the booth. When you find these on eBay, the sold comps on them usually range in the $20 to $30 range from what I had seen. That, that being said, all those ones are actually not in this kind of condition. So I think that the value on it is a little bit higher, at least than that. But the fact that the item itself, even in working condition, despite how it would look, in working condition can be found with somewhat ease. So when I first found that, I thought, oh my God, this is, in like brand new condition almost. And, this would sell really well. And it does sell. It does have a value. There's collectors out there for it. I like pieces like that you can still actually use as well. And, I've sold manual juice presses, really old ones too. And I have one listed. It's not as old, and it's an aluminum one, but I have it listed on eBay now. But I sold one of these really big, heavy ones by Rival Manufacturing, I think it is. And it was originally produced here in Kansas City. It was one of the original juice presses, manual juice presses with like a chrome exterior. It was really cool. I think I sold it for, oh gosh, I don't know, $80 or $90, something like that. This here, you'll notice on here, this little sort of keyhole looking thing. This is iconic of Cambridge glass, Cambridge, Ohio glass. So that's what they're known for. That's kind of their trademark, if you will. But this is a I don't know if it would be called a candelabra with just two, or if it would just be like a double candle, but it's got one of their rose etchings down here. So I don't know what that one was called. Rose Point, I think, maybe. I don't know. Somebody, one of you guys out there, be able to let me know. I haven't stopped to look it up yet, but I only have one. I only have one of them, and so I was thinking, you know, it's too pretty to not sell, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but sell it. So I'm gonna put it up at the booth. It's really cool, and I think it would sell out of there. I could put it on eBay as well. I would expect on eBay maybe $15, $20. I don't know, give or take. I honestly haven't looked it up. Just going off the top of my head, that's kind of where I think it would be, but I don't know. I'm going to put it at the booth and maybe put $10 on it, $12 on it, and then of course it'll have that 15 or 20% discount. This one here, it reminds me of Anchor Hawking, what is it? Is it called American Sandwich pattern? But anyway, it reminds me of that. Kind of a cool little like candy dish compote thing here. But this one is not Anchor Hawking. This is Brody, E.O. Brody, Cleveland, Ohio. So I guess maybe I'm accidentally collecting a lot of Ohio pieces because I think Hull is in Ohio. Or are they West Virginia? I don't know. They're in that neck of the woods anyhow. But so this is vintage. I think these date to the I don't know, maybe 60s or 70s. I'm not positive on that, but I think that's about where it lands date-wise. You know, it's a pretty piece. It's a cool piece, and it could surely be decorated up. It's definitely got that vintage vibe and feel to it. And if you saw my other video with the ashtrays, let me know what you guys think on this one. Like, I don't know. I think it was an extra in a lot that I had done, or in an estate auction that I had won, and I mean, I think it's cool just for the history of it. I think it's a neat thing. I don't know that the value on it is worth it to list. I feel like if I put it in my booth, it would probably sit there because a lot of people that look at this, they're not going to have a clue what any of that is. It took me a long time to figure out what it was from and everything. But it's got the age on it. It's rounding up to almost 100 years old, getting close. So, and it's in perfect condition. I don't know. Should I list it? Should I put it in my booth? I'm kind of torn on it. But then this piece here, I don't believe this to be Murano. And the reason I say that is because on the inside, you can kind of feel that bollicante. And bollicante are controlled bubbles within glass. So you can kind of see how these bubbles like all line up. So that's called controlled bubbles. And, you know, I can imagine that this is not the easiest thing to do, whether you're a Murano glass blower or not, but I don't know. I'm not convinced it's Murano, and the reason I'm not convinced is because now down here it is actually polished. There's just a lot of scratching, you know, on this ring here, but it's this part. It's this pontil here. It's smooth. It's a smooth pontil, but normally Murano pieces don't leave it, you know, like a belly button sticking up on it. Normally they smooth that whole piece down. So, you know, I don't know if this was an American-made piece. I don't think it would have been China, but it could be China or Mexico or something. But I don't think it glows either, which I was kind of surprised about. I mean, if it does, it's not much. It's not a whole lot, but it's still a cool looking piece. It's still a really cool piece. And there's no, I don't think, there's no chips or cracks on it. You know, all this stuff I'm going to show you outside of that hole because I cleaned it up. But all this, oh, and this guy. Of course, he really didn't need to be cleaned up. These I've cleaned. These I have not. So they're going to be looking a little rough. So in my booth, I'm trying to bring up some just better quality stuff. I had originally been using it as, in all honesty, kind of a catch-all to, you know, put my pieces up there that were maybe lower value, not as worth putting on eBay and dealing with the fees and all that jazz. Or maybe they had a hairline crack or, you know, some other minor damage, a small chip or something like that, where, you know, it's going to greatly reduce the value, but I'll put it in my booth and let it sell from there and market the value appropriate to whatever the damage on it might be. The other stuff I put up in my booth, I've put a few pieces up there that were in great condition and just really pretty or cool pieces just to kind of have those eye catchers to bring people into the booth. But the other stuff I put in there are my large items. So things like these guys, lamps, this big guy, who else? My big Indian chief dude. Basically anything big, bulky, and heavy that would not be ideal to ship. Let's see, I was thinking of pulling this guy for the booth. So I really like this vase. I found it in a little combination of a thrift store and consignment store. And it's on our way to Topeka, where a lot of my mom's family lives. And so whenever we drive through that little town, I always stop in and see. And they had this in there for, I don't know, a couple bucks. And let's see if you can kind of notice. You see how this, it kind of looks like it's leaning sort of this way a little bit. Let's turn it this way. Maybe you can see a little better. It kind of leans this way a little. That would tell me it is one of two things. It is either a professional glass blower, that this would have been a second, you know, something went wrong, something started cooling, you know, you can kind of see like the shoulder of it's a little bit wider over here than over here. These would be imperfections. These would be things, it's like the neck of it, you can just tell started kind of seeping downwards. So I don't know exactly what occurs, what, you know, something starts cooling or gets too hot in one area. I don't know. I'm not a glass blower, but the rest of it is in perfect condition. When something like this happens, that's what a professional glass blower would mark as what they call a second, or they're not as good piece. It's not something they would want to necessarily sell with their name on it, or at least not without marking it as a second, meaning that this was not an intended design. Okay, so the other thing it could be is an amateur glass blower. I imagine doing this is not the easiest thing in the world to do. It does have a nice smooth polished bottom to it. There's no, let's see if I can get in the light angle here. There's no signatures or anything that I had been able to see on it. So I don't know, but it's still a really pretty piece. You know, there's no chipping or cracks or anything up top here. I don't mind that it's like that. You know, you can tell that it's not an intentional part of the design. I think they would have wanted this to look a little straighter, but that is still a really cool, like opalescent swirl kind of vase. So I think I'll put that up there. I don't know, and maybe put 20 bucks on it. And oh, again, keep in mind that it's going to have a 15% discount on top of that. So I periodically will go up and also reduce price on my items if they're not moving and things like that. So I'm just kind of tossing out numbers here without really looking that up. So let's see, what else should we send up there? I'm thinking of putting those guys up there. This one here is unmarked, but he's got a cool optic to him, kind of a quilted diamond sort of optic. Sort of these first two I'm pulling out. This is almost more like a, I don't know, fish or dragon scale sort of optic thing going on. I think those two are kind of the more like less common ones that you see, because you'll see these green vases everywhere. That's another E.O. Brody. I feel like E.O. Brody stuff, a lot of what we see today is their like 60s and 70s. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a little older. And this one here is Hoosier glass. So I don't know. I'll maybe put a couple bucks on each of these. and maybe $10, $10 or $15 on each of these ones, and see what they do. This guy, he glows, and I want to say this is maybe Empoli. I feel like this is probably Empoli. That would be my guess. Doesn't mean I'm right. Absolutely does not mean I'm right. But I do love that piece. I think it would be easier to put him in the booth and sell him that way than to ship him via eBay or Niknax or whatever. But I think he's too cool of a piece to not put online. I feel like more eyes on it would be better. That's a really neat piece. You could do a ton of different decorating things with that. That's a really cool one. I'm thinking of putting this guy up there. People are starting to use these a lot again. And so yes, the colored ones and the Pyrex, you know, ones, like Pyrex primary colors. And I have a couple Pyrex primary colors listed in my eBay right now. So clear ones typically don't have much of a high sale value, but if I remember right, this has no chips or cracks or anything on it. It was in great condition. Yes, it's clear, but you know, I think it'll sell fine in the booth. I want to say those on eBay maybe hit between the $10 and $15 line. Let's just say maybe $12. And I think in my booth, I would maybe put 12 on it. And again, there will be that discount. These pieces here both glow. I imagine, let's see, this one here's Hazel Atlas. And this is cool. This is, you know, kind of this paneled side. I'll have to look and see what this actual pattern was called. I have no idea off the top of my head, but really cool. It's kind of with this little foot down here. No chips or cracks on the spout. You can feel the mold seam, but there's no chips or cracks. Really nice, really solid, sturdy handle. I really like this. It'd be like a good little, you know, you could use it as a creamer or water pitcher, you know, small pitcher of some kind. But I always think of like something like pancake batter to pour from. And then this piece here, both of these glow. I don't know. I imagine this is, I think, anchor hawking. If I had to pick one off the top of my head, I would say anchor hawking. But again, no chips or cracks. Everything is tip-top shape. You know, they're dirty. Like I said, everything I'm going to show you tonight it needs a bath. But outside of that, it's good. But I feel like those are going to sell better online. And you know what? What the heck? Why am I just talking about them and not bringing them down? Let's build a Niknax pile over here. Let's Niknax. That's a tongue twister, Jocelyn. You got a good one there. Let's build us a little Niknax pile here. These I'm going to take up to my booth, I think, and try to string them up there. The light is so crappy in there, and I'm wondering if I hang these up, if it'll add a little ambiance or something to it. You know, I was watching Scott, the old Curiosity Shop earlier, and I think he was just doing kind of a live show and tell of Christmas decorations and stuff, and I think I sadly caught it towards the end of it, but he was showing some different, you know, Christmas lights that he had brought out, and they still have the original box and all that stuff. And I'm looking at it, and it just dawned on me that even the frickin' holiday lights, well, I mean, not only were they, in my opinion, kind of better quality and better looking, certainly, but even the friggin' box they came in had like an individual holder for every light. Now, I'm sure long strands like this, they maybe weren't, but have you ever tried to put this thing back in this box? It doesn't work. You ain't doing it. It's not happening. And I was just thinking, you know, back in the day, they used to make stuff where the boxes, you stored it back in the box. That's how these boxes really kind of survived, is because they're still storing the crap in them. I think another piece I'm going to get on Niknax will be this guy. He's a Fenton piece. He's kind of an older one. I'm not sure his exact age. I want to say these were the 40s, maybe in the 50s. They did a lot of those. Kind of that candy stripe pattern. I might put this one, here in my booth. I don't know. I'm torn. Ooh, Niknax booth. Niknax booth. Crikey. I don't know. We need some pretty glass and stuff up at my booth. For right now, we're going to go in the booth aisle. Pile, not aisle. I don't know. Whatever, guys. You know what I'm saying. Oh, does anybody know what this little piece of this e-pern would go to? I imagine, in my head, I think Fenton, a Fenton e-pern. But I don't think I've come across a Fenton e-pern that this design is in. So I'm honestly not sure really how old it is. And it's a little dirty, but I don't know. Anyway, if anybody knows of that, like, this is all I have of it. I have no other parts of the e-pern, but I hate to throw this away because there's no chips, there's no cracks, like there's no damage, not even on the bottom of it. No damage. So I hate to throw it away. But I have no other use for it. I suppose you could use it as a bud vase. I don't know. But does anybody know what e-pern that goes to? Okay, what else do we want to do? I would take some of my like casserole, you know, ceramic stuff up there, but up to the booth, but I already have some up there and I'm just, they're not moving entirely quick and I don't have them priced high. So they may just be something that doesn't sell very well in my area. Please don't be any, like I hung these up this way back when I had fewer coffee mugs and stuff, but no critters. Okay. So this is a McCoy piece. I believe McCoy. And, you know, his eyes are flash painted on there. I don't know why they would, or not flash paint, cold painted. And I'm not sure why they would cold paint on a mug that is, one would imagine, supposed to be washed occasionally. The bottom of it there just says USA, but there's no chips or cracks. He's got a little wear to his cold paint, but he's otherwise in good dusty condition. I'll clean him up and put him on Niknax. Who knows? He's a cute piece nonetheless, you know. At the end of the day, he's that. I'm not thinking to take many coffee mugs and stuff up there. I wonder if I should put this guy in the booth. I kind of feel like booth because he's missing his lid, right? His red part here is obviously cold painted, but the rest of him was under glaze. Outside of missing his lid, he is in excellent condition. Oh, look, he's got a little strainer filter thing there. But yeah, he's unmarked. I don't know if he would have been a Japan piece. I kind of doubt it. I kind of think he's made here in the States, one of the states anyway. I don't know though. I don't know for sure. He's definitely older. You can just tell looking at all his crazing and stuff like that. So because of the crazing, he's not one you would necessarily want to use anyway, even if he had a lid. And so I think this puts him in the cool category of upcycling him, if that's the right word, into like a flower pot or something like that, you know? Putting something in him anyway. I think he might do okay in the booth. You know, like I said before, I live in a rural area and primitive and country and what's the right word for this? Like country shabby chic? Is that a thing? That all that kind of stuff does well in our area. I love this thing. It is, what does it say? Man. I looked this up before and I want to say the value on it wasn't terribly high, which I was kind of surprised because of that seaweed-like, you know, glaze on there. I don't know how exactly they do that, but I think that's cool looking. You know, it's a very simple design, you know, there's not a lot going on with it. But I think maybe just the contrast of that green on here and the sort of abstractness of this mossy or fern looking like stuff, but bud vase. I don't know. I need to get him listed sometime soon though. I kind of think this guy deserves a spot in my next Niknax store because, well, he's got a bird on him, right? So I believe that's Italy, right? Italian? Not positive, but I feel like that was Italian. I can't remember whose mark and stuff that is on there. So you guys, when I get stuff, I take the time to investigate it, and I probably have notes written down about a lot of this stuff somewhere, but I don't take the time to go and dig all those out and everything. Oh, Portugal. That's where it's from. It's from Portugal. That's it. Okay, that reminded me. This one here, he's got his little deer on him, and I don't know, what the heck is that? Is that a building? Is that a tower? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But he's got cute little deer, and this one looks more like a dog to me, but like even a collar on him. Is that what it is? Like a dog chasing a deer? I don't know. But it's hand painted and everything. It's really neat. I like it. I think that's a good one for Niknax. This has no signatures on it. I don't think it has anything on the base either, no. So I imagine this is, you know, maybe a hobbyist piece. Nothing on the back, it's just solid, but it's got a really cool shape to it. I'm not sure, was this intended to be, you know, like a neat liquor jug, or, because I guess I maybe always think of Jim Beam type thing. So did a cork go in the top of here before I had tape on it? Or is this supposed to just be decorative? I mean, why have the hole on the top if that's the case? I don't know. I feel like it's a good booth piece. This would be kind of expensive to ship just because of the size on it. It's not terribly heavy when I pick it up. If I had to guess, oh, it's maybe between a pound and a half or so. So it's not terribly heavy. It's just the size will make it a pain to ship. But the design on it, I think, makes it a good option to stick in the booth. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna pick out some lamps. These guys, I'm not ready to do anything with. This crazing look on here, that is not damage. That is, I believe, more intentional with the glaze. That's a design feature. This dirt look up here, however, is probably not intentional, as it's not replicated on this side. It's only here, so that needs to be cleaned up. But I don't know. I'm still debating whether or not I want to try to list these ones online. I don't know. It seems like this one maybe has the original switch to it. I think these monkey guys, when I looked these up, I got these in a thrift store. I want to say there's a total of 3 of these, but maybe the other 2 are up on top. A total of 3 of these, and they've got these little monkeys on them. You can look back into, especially back in kind of Art Deco times, monkeys, they were usually the like butler boy or bellboy is what I'm, I guess, thinking of. And so these are not old, these are new, but or newer anyway. But they actually were worth quite a bit. I was surprised when I looked them up. I'm thinking of getting these guys moved up there. He's got that cool heavy thick amber glass on him. Very patriotic. The only downside to this guy is he's got a little bit of wear to the gilt on him. Somebody who knows what they're doing could go in and kind of touch that up though. I won't try it. I don't want to mess him up, but I believe these both still work. I don't think there's any light in here. These are both big, heavy pieces. These probably date in the 60s or 70s, and they are very heavy. They're cool pieces though. They are cool, and they do carry a decent value with them, or at least they did last time I looked them up. So I'm gonna put those up in the booth. I definitely don't want to ship these guys, and I'm not afraid to ship the glass or anything, but these guys weigh so much. They would be, wow, they would be expensive to ship. Really expensive. So I think I'm gonna put him up in the booth. This is a newer lamp. I believe these were produced in the 80s. And, you know, so he's kind of, this is all plastic, this topper here. But it's designed to look like sort of that stained glass style, like the old school, more vintage, actual vintage ones. This here, though, you can tilt this. It's got a piece in here that lets you kind of tilt this as you need it done. I really don't know why that feature's there, but it is. But it's in great condition. I think I'm going to put him up there. I think he'd sell well in my booth. And I think he'd look good up there anyway. I don't know. I'm thinking booth on that guy. I don't know. I love this guy. I don't know why he's so innocently charming. I might put him on Niknax. Like, I'm not trying to go too crazy with it, because what'll happen is I'll wind up just pulling every dang thing off my shelves and then have an overwhelming amount to clean up, process, photograph, yada yada. It's not a super quick process. You know, a lot of the stuff you're handling is cold painted, or it's fragile or something like that. So it's not always like just a quick throw it in the dishwasher kind of thing. Absolutely do not do that. It takes a little bit to clean these up and then photograph them and do any little bit of research that's needed on them. One thing when it comes to research that I would advise is, well, first and foremost, you're never going to know it all, and you're never going to find all the answers. That's just, it's virtually impossible. However, instead of sitting on pieces like me and many others do, you know, take a step back and look at the piece just for what it is. Forget about trying to ID it, you know, who made it and stuff like that. Look at just what it is and the quality of it and go from there. And so something like this little redware dog. Okay, well, I imagine he's probably made in Japan. I don't know that for sure, but I would guess he might be marked on here somewhere. I haven't searched him too hard yet, but he's a coin bank. He's in good condition. His coin slot's in good condition. His rubber feels maybe slightly dry. Like if you were going to still use him, I'd recommend replacing that. So usually on these things, that's not considered damage, but it is something I like to note. His cold paint's slightly worn. You know, he's only got one eye open now, but nonetheless, he's pretty cool. He's got a cool, you know, 60s, 70s sort of retro-y vibe to him with the little, what do they call them? Power flowers, or I don't know, flowers on him, whatever. I would imagine on average a piece like him, maybe not him exactly, but like him, meaning redware, glazed, cold painted, figural, somewhat anthropomorphic on him, which anthropomorphic just means they have humanized, basically, or added human elements, so bows and top hats and things like that to make the animal appear human. He's got flowers on him. You know, you're looking at all the decoration and stuff, and I would venture to say something like him probably sits in that maybe $12 to $20 range, $12 to $18 range would be my guess. I think that would be the average of where he would go. If his paint was in better condition, he would maybe go for a little bit more. I don't know. But the main functions on him are his like coin slot and stuff, and that's great. Usually these are busted up. Dang kids try to get in there and steal out the change, you know. I mean, that's just kind of my advice for it. And then go and look at other pieces that are similar to it. You don't necessarily have to find out who made it, when it was made exactly, all those kinds of things, but go find similar pieces to it and base your price estimates on that. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized I showed Blippi in a video a while back. Oh, but I hadn't listed him yet. And I honestly don't know why. I think I just got carried away with listing a bunch of other stuff and I hadn't listed Blippi quite yet. Oh, come on, man. Holy moly. But I think Blippi would do awesome on Niknax. Or I'd like to see anyway how he would do on Niknax. Now, Blippi, something I didn't say in the other video. So Blippi here, he was designed or reimagined, I should say. He was reimagined after they had developed Casper the Ghost. So you'll find Casper the Ghost, and all they did was change this guy to purple, essentially. It's basically all they changed. It's Casper with antennas is what it is. I don't know why. But I'm thinking of sticking this dude on Niknax. He does have some damage. He's got a little ear problem there. But he is a handmade, obviously, stoneware pottery piece. He was done by, I want to say it's the son. It might have been the lady from KU, the art professor I told you guys about. It might have been her, but I feel like this might have been her son. So there is some inscription on the back there that I'm unable to read. Character inscriptions. So you want to talk about a weirdo. Beat this guy, man. Like, I think he's cool as heck. I love him. But he's a weirdo. He is a weirdo for sure. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, look at those eyes. And is he sticking his tongue out? Or are those teeth? I don't know. He looks angry. Angry as all get out, though. Angry as all get out. I'm thinking about putting him on Niknax. He's kind of heavy. Let's see how much he weighs. I'm just curious now. Ooh, he's a solid, what, 1 pound, 4 ounces? Or just shy of 4 ounces, so yeah, let's Niknax him. I think he's a cool little, he's very different. Okay, you guys, I had to run upstairs for a quick minute, so I can hardly remember now where I left off, but I think probably right now is a good place to stop, for a minute anyway. I think we've got a decent amount of stuff, you know, at least to get started. And keep in mind, I took, you know, a few things up to the booth a day and a half or so ago. So let's figure out, I suppose, what all is still there and not, and go from there. Hopefully tomorrow when I go up there, everything, you know, that's on this table, I will be able to put up there, including these two guys here. And then for my Niknax, well, ignore those lights. They're gonna go to the booth to add a little ambiance. But for my Niknax stuff, you know, it's not a lot. It's very little actually to get me started. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out a way that maybe I can cross-post my, you know, 400 and some eBay listings over to Niknax. I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know why they wouldn't allow it, but maybe they don't. I don't know. And, but I think this is a decent little batch to get me started. I hate to overload myself with, you know, 100 pieces sitting in front of me to clean up and get listed on one platform or another, or, you know, prepared to take to the booth. I just, you know, I think we're at a good slow down point for this evening anyway, and I will work on getting these that need to be cleaned up and ready to go. And then hopefully tomorrow I can post at least a short video giving you guys the info on my seller information on Niknax and where you can go to start looking at that. My eBay store, the link for it should be on my YouTube page, like in the, I don't know what they call it, like the bio or about me, or, you know, whatever that is, page on my YouTube channel, where that should theoretically take you directly to my eBay store. And, you know, go over there and look around, see what all I have. There's obviously a whole lot listed that you guys have never seen before on my shelves or Pickin or any of that stuff, because it was all listed before I started my YouTube channel. So yeah, feel free to go over there and look around, and you know, let me know what you guys think of it too. I'm not opposed to criticism or compliments. Either way, let me know what's good about it, what's not good about it, because I can't improve it if I don't know these things. So take a look, browse around, let me know what you guys think. and you know, we'll kind of go from there. So I hope you guys all have a really great evening or day, or you know, whenever you're seeing this. As always, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and I enjoy showing you things that I'm picking and kind of just rattling off, rambling what's going through my head, or you know, why I'm choosing certain things or what my thoughts are about it. And you know, it's like I said before, do I know everything? No. No, I do not. Not even close. Nowhere near everything. I try to give you guys whatever information I do have about it, to try to bring just cool vintage or antique things for you guys to see. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. For any of you guys that stick around and watch, you know, the whole video, I greatly appreciate it. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I enjoy doing this and making these videos, and I hope you guys enjoy them. Yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point for tonight, and I'll work on getting these things cleaned up and listed and ready, and you know, ready for the booth and everything. So I'll film a little bit at the booth, let you guys probably see it walking in as I see it walking in, and fingers crossed, again, that booth is dang near empty. I won't be upset if every piece of it is sold out of there. I would be ecstatic. I'm not going to go as far as to say that that's going to be the case, but nonetheless, I hope a good portion of it is sold so that I can get most, if not all, of what I'm bringing up there tomorrow and get it in there. For Niknax, I am so beyond excited for it. I think there's going to be little kinks and stuff in the website, on the seller end anyway, that either I just don't know how to work it. That's always a strong possibility. Or you know, it's just kind of a newer marketplace. It's a newer site. And if you think that eBay doesn't have little things here and there, you'd be sorely mistaken. So no worries on that. We'll figure them all out. And I think it's going to be really great. I'm really excited about it. I have just a strong, overwhelming feeling that this is kind of that turning point in the road, that fork in the road, whatever you'd want to say there. It's going to, this is like the catalyst, the liftoff for bigger and better going forward. I can't say enough how excited I am. So, but again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.